Life's secret weapon. Why ancient microbes bet on a rare metal. The story of life on Earth is often told as a progression from simple to complex, driven by the abundance of resources. However, new research suggests that early life made a surprising gamble. It built its foundational biochemistry around molybdenum, a metal that was virtually non-existent in the ancient oceans. This discovery challenges the long-held assumption that life simply uses whatever elements are most available. Instead, it reveals that biological systems can become deeply dependent on scarce resources, a finding that could fundamentally alter how scientists search for life on other planets. Challenging the abundance first theory for years, scientists operated under a logical premise. Early life, emerging in an anoxic, oxygen-free world, would have utilized the most abundant transition metals available. Geochemical records indicate that molybdenum was extremely rare during the Archean Eon, 3.4 billion years ago. Tungsten, a chemically similar element, was more prevalent. Consequently, the prevailing theory was that ancient microbes initially used tungsten for essential metabolic processes and only switched to molybdenum later, as oxygen levels rose and molybdenum became more accessible in the environment. The new study overturns this timeline. Research led by Professor Betul Kassar at the University of Wisconsin-Madison indicates that life didn't wait for molybdenum to become common. Instead, ancient organisms developed sophisticated mechanisms to extract and utilize this rare metal as early as 3.3 to 3.7 billion years ago, while simultaneously experimenting with tungsten. How the research was conducted to test the evolutionary history of these metals. The research team did not rely solely on fossil records, which are scarce for microbial life. Instead, they turned to genomic archaeology. The study involved several key methodological steps. Genomic screening. The team scanned vast databases of modern species to identify genes responsible for transporting, storing, and utilizing molybdenum and tungsten. Phylogenetic reconciliation. By mapping these genes onto the tree of life, they reconstructed when specific metal-utilizing proteins first appeared. This allowed them to trace the evolutionary lineage back to the last universal common ancestor, LUCA. Intracellular tracking. The researchers analyzed how molybdenum moves within cells, from uptake to catalysis to understand the efficiency and necessity of these pathways. The results showed that the genetic machinery for molybdenum use is ancient and widespread, suggesting it was established very early in life's history, despite the element's scarcity. Why scarcity didn't stop evolution. The persistence of molybdenum-dependent life in a molybdenum-poor environment is counterintuitive. Aya Close, a Ph.D. student involved in the study, noted the paradox. According to the geochemical record, molybdenum abundance on the early Earth seems to have been a lot lower billions of years ago. Yet for some reason, despite its limited availability, life continued to evolve using biochemical processes that rely on molybdenum. This suggests that early microbes were not passive recipients of environmental conditions. They evolved high-affinity transport systems and efficient enzymatic pathways to make the most of trace amounts of molybdenum. These pathways were so successful that they were passed down through billions of years of evolution, becoming the standard for modern carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur cycling. This study shows that just because an element is scarce in the environment doesn't mean life will not find a way to use it and even build an empire with it. Professor Betul Kassar implications for astrobiology. The significance of this finding extends far beyond Earth's history. It has profound implications for the search for extraterrestrial life. Traditionally, astrobiologists have looked for planets with geochemical signatures similar to Earth's current state, focusing on abundant elements. However, this research suggests that life can thrive and become complex, even when key biochemical elements are rare. If life on Earth built its core metabolism around a scarce metal, then life on other planets might not follow the same abundance first rule. Scientists may need to broaden their search criteria, looking for biological signatures even in environments where expected elements are lacking. Conclusion: the discovery that ancient life relied on molybdenum, despite its scarcity, reshapes our understanding of biological resilience. It demonstrates that life is not limited by the immediate availability of resources, but is driven by evolutionary innovation to exploit whatever is accessible. For astrobiologists, this means the search for life must be guided by imagination as much as by geochemistry, recognizing that biology can find a way even in the most unexpected conditions.